We think that proudly African tech and proudly African content has not achieved its rightful place in terms of recognition, in terms of respect on the globe. So that too is a huge motivator for us.
Obi Emetarom, CEO and co-founder of AppZone, wants to transform the banking industry in Africa. He's the maker of software and digital infrastructure for banking and payments. But before we hear more about his journey, let's take a look at how AppZone is changing the way some Africans bank. It takes just a few minutes for Alua Akindo to access a new debit card, a welcome innovation for a process that previously would have involved paperwork and long lines. This self-service ATM is an innovation of Nigerian fintech company AppZone. It provides digital solutions for financial institutions trying to improve their services. The company recently secured millions of dollars of investment. Their aim is to build a single digital ecosystem for Africa's banking and payment sectors. Obi, AppZone began as a service firm in 2008, and now it provides solutions to hundreds of banks across African countries. How have you managed such rapid growth?
It's been actually quite exciting and challenging. We've really focused on trying to do things differently than how they've been done and trying to really deploy innovation and cutting edge technology to align with what we see as this rapid transformation, this industry trend, where the traditional brick and mortar operations is being literally evolving. It's been about innovation, it's been about talent, finding the right talent, grooming the right talent. It's been about building credibility, working with the bias against local content, building credibility to overcome that. And of course, more recently, sourcing funding to scale out our operations.
How important is it, Obi, for you to use local talent?
It's really important because, first of all, we are all about empowering the top 1% locally. We believe that, as is said out there, that talent is evenly distributed, but opportunity is not. And we see a lot of really top talent who are like raw potential, but not exposed and developed enough to really maximize that potential. And what we've really set out to do from day one is to really harness this talent pool on the continent and provide them the opportunity and work with them to really do all of this great stuff. It's also important for our business model. We know that it's more cost effective to work with local talent as opposed to what you typically see in the West. Yeah, so for us, this is like being a huge focus.
How hard was it to develop the tech in Africa and then also convince people that they don't physically need to go into a bank?
Yeah, so in terms of developing the tech, I would say it's hard. And the reason why it's hard is because even though you have talent, top talent in terms of potential, you don't have that level of exposure, experience, or expertise. And because the area where we function is highly specialized, the rules of the game are really complex. What we've done to overcome that is to focus a lot on development, a lot on capacity building. We have a lot of accelerated learning programs we put in place to help expose this raw talent, to give them the tools and the capability they require to be productive. It's been tough but exciting. It's been challenging. A lot of the time, we've gotten comments about how some of what we do is impossible. Like, in fact, each time we launch a new initiative, we usually get comments that you can't do this in this part of the world, and we always get it done.
Obi, you have 15 years experience pioneering banking and payment software. Why did you want to get into this field?
So, growing up, I've been quite passionate about computers and how computers will impact the economy as a whole and the way we live. I think I felt in the very early days like financial services is or was and is still the most susceptible to digitization because it has the least dependence on brick and mortar and human involvement to deliver the service. Financial services is about digits, it's about numbers. So it occurred to me quite early. I would have a huge amount of impact in the shortest amount of time if I'm able to work or innovate within the financial services space. So for me, I think just knowing that this sector is one of the most, if not the most susceptible to digital transformation, I think that was like the biggest excitement.
What motivates you to keep trying to work through these challenges?
For us, like we have a vision. We want to have the financial operating system built for Africa by Africans. We want to completely digitize banking and payments across Africa. So far, we're not there. We just have to keep going. We think that proudly African tech and proudly African content has not achieved its rightful place in terms of recognition, in terms of respect uh, on the globe. So that too is a huge motivator for us. And every day we wake up and those objectives are still out there. We are super excited to keep pushing it. Plus it's also fun, actually. We're geeks, so tech is fun.